Much of your work will live on in your research, in the articles, in the chapters, the books, and in all the speaking engagements you have done around the world. The International Leadership Association honors you for all of the work that you have done on furthering the field of leadership. In addition to your scholarly work, you have given something much more. You have given of yourself to your fellow scholars, students, educators, and leadership practitioners. On behalf of all of them and the ILA, we present to you the International Leadership Association's Lifetime Achievement Award and the testimonials of the people whose lives you have touched. Your legacy will live on for many, many, many years, and you will continue to touch the lives of others. The ILA will proudly display your accomplishments and accolades on a virtual wall of fame that will include a dedicated website to you and all the work that you have done and will continue to do, along with the other legacy recipients. So, on this 29th day of October, 2010, as the President of the International Leadership Association, I formally induct Jean Lipman-Blumen into the ILA Leadership Legacy Program. Well, I am quite speechless, and I think for those of you who know me, that's quite a statement. Thank you all. Thank you all. I can't believe that everybody got up at this hour of the morning to come to the breakfast. But I thank you. I thank you for getting up. This is sort of like coming to your own funeral, but without the consequence. It's a happy hour coming up. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Sin. Thank you, Warren. You can tell those are pretty hard acts to follow, particularly in 10 minutes or less. But dear, dear honored guests, colleagues, friends, and family, Abraham Lincoln once remarked, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt." But today, throwing caution to the winds, I'll forego Lincoln's good advice and respond to this unexpected but cherished award in approximately 8 to 10 minutes, okay? First, I want to say how profoundly moved and grateful I am to ILA for this award, both because of the unusual circumstances of its timing and place, as well as its intrinsic meaning. Then, very briefly, I'd like to pose a special challenge that ILA is uniquely qualified to address. To begin with the unusual circumstances of this award, by chance, it arrived on my birthday. What an incredible birthday gift. Thank you. But unfortunately, next year, I think will be a real letdown. Unless you have a second act. Again, by chance, the presentation is occurring in the town of my birth, and if you have ever had any doubts about it, just listen to me speak and you'll hear it. This has special meaning to me for several reasons, both bad and good. So let's start with the bad. Growing up in Boston with its predilection for producing scoundrel leaders, I avoided studying leadership until I'd say midway into my career. You may recall hearing about James Michael Curley, a major political figure at the turn of the century,
Twice he was elected from a prison cell. Okay. First to the Board of Aldermen, and later to the role of mayor of Boston. And you might note that he ran the city of Boston for 5 months from that jail cell until he was released and later fully pardoned by President Truman. So you see how growing up in Boston predisposed me to see leadership through a glass darkly. Now it's time to return to the good. And receiving this award in my birthplace has several very real positive aspects. First, it holds special existential meaning to me to return to the scene of my early life for this unexpected but much appreciated recognition. And I was going to talk, if there is enough time, about my greatest embarrassment when I was 7 years old. So to return to the site of my greatest embarrassment, to come back later to try to wipe it out. But I might talk about that later at 4 o'clock. Second, being in Boston has the added delight of having many of my dearest family members join the celebration. Having spoken rather lightly about the unusual circumstances of this award, let me turn to a second issue and speak seriously and from my heart about the intrinsic meaning this award has for me. It is really, really impossible for me to convey to you how truly appreciative and humbled I am today to receive this award from this group of scholars, educators, and practitioners whose professional accomplishments simply blow me away. ILA's high intellectual and professional standards inspire immense respect throughout the worlds of academia and practice and well beyond. Excuse me. Besides, being selected in the company of the other awardees, thank you, Ed Hollander and Fred Fiedler and Russ Marby, makes me feel that I am flying way above my pay grade. I often speak of ILA's twofold uniqueness that distinguishes it from other academic and professional associations. First, ILA is unique in the challenge that it undertook 12 years ago to bring together the highest level of scholarship with the most innovative and integrity-infused leadership practice, so that scholarship might inform practice and practice might serve as a real-life corrective for scholarship. No other organization I know has undertaken such an audacious task. It's unique in another way as well. ILA is singularly profuse with the concern its founders epitomize. Founders like Jim Burns, Georgia Sorensen, Gil Hickman, Lorraine Matusek, Warren Bennis, Sin Sherry, Ron Heifetz, and others. And their concern for consequential and cutting edge, and this is the point, but emphatically civil, intellectual, and practice-oriented discourse, despite the scientific and pragmatic differences we might feel. ILA shines as a beacon of civil discourse in this era of deafening, personalized, and bitter political dialogue. On both counts, ILA is truly unique and admirable, and to be recognized by such an extraordinary organization truly takes my breath away. But I would be remiss indeed if I did not point out the obvious, that without my own professors and mentors, without my fantastic students, present and past, including the party planners, Sarah Smith Orr and Lynn Kaysen and Kathy Pelletier, my colleagues, my friends and family everywhere, and particularly my beloved collaborator, Hal Levitt, as well as my esteemed home institution, the Drucker Ito Graduate School of Management, and the entire Claremont Graduate University, and the Claremont Colleges writ large, which is really my second home, okay, with its remarkable faculty and administrators, some of whom are here today. This never could have happened. It just wouldn't have happened. And without ILA's superb staff, Shelley, Josh, Deborah, Ashley, Evan, and others, we wouldn't have the continuing excellence of this great association. So I thank you all, every one of you, from the bottom of my heart. Really, really, truly. But now, in the closing 3 minutes, I would not be myself, I think, if I didn't go on and say this. So I want to pose a special challenge to ILA and the historic Leadership 2.0 Time for Action Conference. And that is to address the central question, leadership for what? What should be the action goal of all this research, teaching, and leadership practice, if not the noblest goal of all? The achievement and ongoing promotion of peace, which then enables us to redirect our resources and attention to the other remaining great challenges. Leadership action for peace is the challenge I pose to ILA today. For without peace, we squander our valuable and limited resources so desperately needed to confront the teeming unmet needs of humankind, and that is poverty, health, education, famine, the environment, climate change, shelter, and economic stability around the globe. By accepting this challenge, we'll undoubtedly discover that we have also met our own human need for meaning and significance that Viktor Frankl so passionately urged us to fulfill. We'll also discover our deep bonds and connections to the rest of humankind as expressed in the concept, the Swahili concept of Ubuntu, translated as a person is a person through other persons. Only this time it will be Ubuntu in action. Since I believe without implementation, ideas go nowhere. At the risk of meeting Lincoln's worst fears, let me conclude with 30 seconds of an implementation strategy. Okay? And we can continue this discussion of the implementation strategy on Saturday at our session or any other time. But I think this is really important. And that is that the ILA should connect to other major groups concerned with achieving peace and maintaining it worldwide to establish jointly an ongoing, robust presence at the United Nations. ILA should lead the way. We should have a strong voice in international policy for peace. Having a voice in the international policy dialogue will open new doors to peace. Then, when we are asked, leadership for what? We may answer unabashedly, leadership for lasting peace that redirects our resources to fulfill humankind's most critical unmet needs. May ILA lead the way. Thank you all for this cherished award and for considering this proposal. And when I opened my door this morning, I found the Wall Street Journal outside my door. And I thought it was a propitious headline, Birth of a Movement. Go for it.